Yeah, hello students. Good morning, all of you. Yeah, once again, a warm welcome to the Computer Networks online session. Today, video number 24, which belongs to the overview of unit number 3. In the last video, we covered half part of data link layer unit number 3. That is overview 1 of unit number 3. Now, this video is specially made for the second part of data link layer overview. So, as you know, we successfully completed unit number 3 in the past videos. So, in the last video, what we covered is what are the different responsibilities of data link layer, what are the different design issues of data link layer. These design issues we covered, these 4 design issues entirely we covered in the last video. So, in this video, we will discuss about the overview of how the error detection and correction, what are the error detection and correction techniques and different protocols of data link layer. So excuse me, there is an error showing. Right. So these are the topics we covered in the last video. That is service provided to the network layer, framing concept, error control, and flow control. Now, in this video, we will discuss about the overview of error detection codes and correction codes, and along with the different protocols, simplex protocol, stop and wait protocol, and different sliding window protocols. So we are directly moving to the error detection techniques. Directly move on to the error correction and detection. So first, error detection is the very important there in the data link layer. So after detecting the errors, how we have to correct the errors, that what we have to be discuss in this video. So detecting errors. So how we have to be detect the error? Here the we means the data link layer. How the data link layer detect the errors means by applying the redundancy concept here. So I think you guys also redundancy means adding some additional bits. The duplication of some amount of data has to be adding to the original data by transmitting that amount of data. Then it detecting the errors. So what are the different type of errors? So generally there are two type of errors are there. First one is single bit error. That means just only one bit is changed in the entire original data. And second one is burst error. Burst error means some amount of large amount of bits are changing. That means in the single bit error, only one bit is changing from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. But in the burst error, so this is the length of, for example, 5 bits. Total 5 bits are here changing from 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. So that is called burst error. So that means 2 or more bits in data unit are changed. That is called burst error. If only one bit is changing in the original data, that is called single bit error. So error detection versus correction, how we have to be detect the errors. For that purpose, uh, here in sender side, an encoder is used, which will generate a generator is placed in the sender side and a checker is placed at the receiver side. So generator is placed at the sender side and checker is placed at the receiver side. So these are the error detection techniques. So the major error detection techniques, there are four error detection methods are there. Four error detection methods are there. First one is vertical redundancy check, longitudinal redundancy check, cyclic redundancy check, and checksum. So please note down vertical redundancy check, longitudinal redundancy check, cyclic redundancy check, and checksum. And vertical redundancy check is also known as parity checker. Also known as parity checker. So slightly we are moving to the parity checking, that is vertical redundancy check. So what happened there in the vertical redundancy check is it will be depending on the odd number of errors. So only odd number of errors are identifying in the vertical redundancy check. So we already discussed here. A generator is placed. So what is the responsibility of generator here? Whenever if odd number of ones are there, so depending on the even parity. So if number of ones 1, 2, 3, 4 in this data, 4 number of ones are there. That means this is even parity. So it is also a even parity. So here the parity generator adds 0 to the original data. So parity generator adds 0 to the original data. So that is transmitted to the receiver side. So in this example, only 3 ones are there. That is, so it is odd parity. So if it is the odd parity, the parity generator generates 1, adding 1 to the original data. This 1 is adding to the original data. 1, 1, 1. This is odd parity. 1 is added by the generator. Now it becomes the even parity. So, but here the disadvantage is only odd number of errors is identified in the vertical redundancy check. Only odd number of errors is identified in the vertical redundancy check. That is 1 bit, 3 bit, 5 bit errors are 1 bit, 3 bit, and 5 bit errors only identified in the vertical redundancy check. That's what we discussed in the video. Now the next one is the longitudinal redundancy check. So what happened there in the vertical redundancy check is only odd number of errors are identified. To identify the even numbers also, here in the longitudinal redundancy check, every number is, so for example 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 frames are there. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, 4. So all the 4 frames are added, and the result is also added to the original data. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, and the XOR operation of those 4 frames is adding to the original data. Now the original data 11, 111. This is odd parity. So 1 is added. This is also odd parity. 1 is added. This one is even parity. So 0 is added. This one is odd parity. 1 is added. This is the XOR operation. The addition operation of all these 4 frames. This is also a odd parity. So 1 is added. Now along with the parity bits, this one is the data and parity bits. Frame 1, frame 2, frame 3, frame 4, and addition of all these 4 frames, XOR operation of all these 4 frames along with the parity bits. Now if one error affects 2 parities and 2 errors affects 2 parities and 3 errors affects 4 parities and 4 errors cannot be detected. If there are 4 errors are there, it cannot be detected. So this one is the another example for parity checker. So in this way, only odd numbers are checked in the vertical redundancy check, but in the longitudinal redundancy check, both odd and even frames are checked. And next, cyclic redundancy check. So here in the cyclic redundancy check, a polynomial equation is using here. So how we have to write the polynomial equation is, the first one is x, that is x naught, x power 0 plus x power 1 plus x power 2 plus x power 3 plus x power 4 plus in this way. First, x power 0. So no need to, here if 0 is there, no need to write. So 0. So no need to write x power 0, that is 1. The next one is 1, x power 1. So we are writing x power 1. So x power 2, x power 3, no need to write. Now x power 4 and plus x power 5. In this way, we have to be writing polynomial and the generating polynomial is equal to 1101, that is x cube plus x square plus 1. Why? Because x power 0 1, x power 1 no need to write, x power 2 and x power 3. So by using this, so the division operation has to be performed. So frame, generator, division, dividend, this one is the remainder. So that is cyclic redundancy check. So and another process of cyclic redundancy check, polynomial equation will be divided by the generator. And next one is the checksum. As the name suggests, sum, check sum. Sum is added. If it is the data we have to be transmitted, for example 7 11 12 0 6, these are the original data we have to be transmitted. So all these are added together, that is 36. All these are added together is 36. Whenever these are transmitted to the sender side, sender also added all these. If it is also a 36, then minus 36 will be transmitted. So minus 36 plus 36, that is 0. That means data is original. If it is not 0, then the data is, there is error will be occurred. So a wrapped sum is transmitted 7 11 12 0 6 36 1 0 6 and 9. So that is a checksum, adding the bits. So k is equal to 4, m is equal to 8. So both are adding and complementing, that is checksum. So checksum versus, so that is error detection. So these four are the error detection techniques. Error detection techniques. So vertical redundancy check, longitudinal redundancy check, cyclic redundancy check, and checksum. So go through with the lecture notes, you can easily identify these checksum versus CRC. Now error correction, how we have to be correct the errors after detecting the error. Immediately retransmitting the data packet is one of the best solution for correcting the errors. So once detected, the error must be corrected. Two techniques for error correction. One is retransmission, that's what we discussed, retransmission, and second one is forward error correction. Retransmission means if frame is lost, we can immediately retransmit that frame. If frame is reached to the destination end, if the receiver identifies the error, if frame is reached to the destination end, if receiver identifies the error, the receiving device can correct the errors itself. The receiving device can correct the errors itself, is called forward error correction. Is called forward error correction. For that purpose, a Hamming code we have to be using here. So how we have to be applying the Hamming code is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, where we have to put the Hamming bits. So where we have to be put the Hamming bits is 2 power 0, 2 power 1, 2 power 2, and that means first place, second place, fourth place, 8th place, 16th place, 32 place, we have to add the Hamming bits. We have to add the Hamming bits. Now is the example. So where we have to be put the redundancy. Hamming bits means redundancy bits. Where we have to put the redundancy bit is 1st place, 2nd place, 4th place, 18th place. Now so 1st place, 2nd place, 4th place, and 18th place. So here R1 will take care about the in between bits. R2 will take care about these bits, and R4 will take care about these 3 bits, and R8 will take care about these 3 bits. So this is the example. So whatever the what the data we have to be transmit is 1001101. 1001101 is the data we have to transmit. First place redundancy bit, second place redundancy bit, fourth place, 8th place. So 1001101, right? Adding R1, adding R2, adding R4, adding R8. So these 1001 are the duplicate bits. 1001 are Hamming bits. 1001 are Hamming bits. Where we have to be place the Hamming bits? In the place of 2 power 0, in the place of 2 power 1, in the place of 2 power 2, and 2 power 3. So first place, second place, fourth place, 8th place. If the frame size is 11, if the frame size is more than 11, we have to be placed in R16 also. So we are adding additional bits 1001. Now how it will be received? So 1 will take care about 0, 1. So we have to perform XOR operation 1 and 1 with 0, 1 0, 1, and fourth place 1 0. So here the fourth place 0 0 0 1 1 0 0 1 1. We have to perform XOR operation, that is 1, and the last one is 1 0 0 1 1 0 0 1. So it is 0. That is 7. So the bit in position 7 is an error. So seventh bit, here seventh bit is 1, but here the seventh bit is 0. So we can easily identify the error. So that is a Hamming code. And next, moving to the protocol session. So there in the protocols, there are two types of protocols are there. So generally noisy channel protocols and noiseless channel protocol. The noiseless channel protocols are simplex and stop and wait. For noiseless channel, simplest and stop and wait. For noisy channel, there are three protocols: stop and wait protocol, ARQ, go back and selective repeat. These are called it as sliding window protocols. These are called it as sliding window protocols. So these two are simplex protocol. Simplex protocol means sender always sends, receiver always receives. So only unidirectional, one-way direction data frame is transmitted. So there is no possibility of error occurring, no possibility of damage. So no error occurs, no damages. So this is called simplex protocol. Here we have to be using simplex protocol. That is noiseless. There is no disadvantages, no damages, no errors occurred. So that is simplex protocol. Second one is simplex stop and wait protocol. Here in the simplex stop and wait protocol, only one path is using for the purpose of both the frame and acknowledgement. When sender sending the frame to the receiver, receiver sends acknowledgement. When the receiver is arrival to the sender, then only the sender sends the next frame. This is the scenario what happened there in stop and wait protocol. But for both frame and acknowledgement transformation, only one path is using, that is half duplex mode. First sender sends the message. Both sender and receiver are using one path. Both sender and receiver are using one path. After sending, sender sends the message, then receiver sends the acknowledgement to the sender. Both are using the same path, that is stop and wait protocol. So in the simplex protocol for noisy channel, these two are noiseless channel: simplex protocol, simplex stop and wait protocol. But simplex stop and protocol for noisy channel, if sender sends data packet, receiver sends acknowledgement. If in between acknowledgement is lost, how much of time sender will wait? So sender waits for some time. If he doesn't receive the acknowledgement, he again retransmits that particular data packet. So that is one case. In second case, if packet is lost in between, so he waits for some time. Why? Because packet is not received by the receiver, receiver doesn't send acknowledgement. So sender waits for some time and again retransmits that particular data packet. This is for simplex protocol for a noisy channel. Simplex protocol for a noisy channel. In between, some duplicate frames are arrived. Why? Because here the packet 0 is arrived. So acknowledgement is not received by the sender. So sender again retransmits the packet 0. Here the packet 0 again received by the receiver. This one is duplicate frame. Right? Stop and wait protocol for lost frame lost. Stop and wait protocol for acknowledgement lost. Here the frame is lost. Here the acknowledgement is lost. So these are the protocols for simplex and half duplex. Now moving to the sliding window protocol. Sliding window protocol means bidirectional protocols. Bidirectional. So there are three approaches are there for the bidirectional. One is we are using forward channel and reverse channel in one case. In approach one, we are using forward channel for one data transmission and reverse channel for acknowledgement. But here in reverse channel, bandwidth is wasted and some cost effective. In the second way, both acknowledgement and frame are adding together and intermixed together and transmitted. That is the second approach. The third one is piggy banking scheme. Here in the piggy banking, the frames are waiting some amount in the banking area, then after transmitted. But here the complications are how long it has to be wait and how long then the sender timeout period, then sender retransmission. That is the solutions are new packet arrives quickly and new packet arrives after the receiving of acknowledgement timeout. So the sliding window protocols are, there are three sliding window protocols, one bit go back and selective repeat. So one bit sliding window protocol. This is one bit sliding window protocol. So there are total 6 cases are there in one bit sliding window protocol, and remaining two are the solutions for stop and wait protocol, that is go back and end protocol and a selective repeat protocol. You will watch, if you watch that video belongs to the protocol video number 22 and 21, which are where we explained clearly about the one bit sliding window protocol and go back and selective repeat protocol. So you go through with that videos, video number 22 and video number 21, which will clearly explains the one bit sliding window protocol and go back and selective repeat protocols. And you go through with the lecture notes, you can easily understand these protocol concepts. Thank you very much. With this video, we successfully completed unit number 3.